Good morning, and welcome to the Daily AI News Digest for March 6th, 2026. Today, we're tracking a seismic shift in the world of artificial intelligence. This is the moment where theory is colliding with the hard realities of national security, corporate liability, and constitutional law. You could say the honeymoon is officially over. Those early, heady days of rapid AI adoption have given way to a much tougher era, one defined by high-stakes accountability. What we're seeing is a flight to reality, a moment where all the abstract ideas are finally being tested, and the very foundations of the tech world are being broken and rebuilt right before our eyes. So here's what's on our radar in today's briefing. First, a growing and frankly unprecedented schism between a leading AI lab and the Pentagon. Second, a massive technical breakthrough that's redefining AI as a true cognitive partner. Third, the hardware revolution that's making mass-scale AI an economic reality. Fourth, a looming crisis of reliability in some of our most critical systems. And finally, the escalating battle over who exactly gets to write the rules for this new world. Let's get right to it. Our lead story is a geopolitical shockwave. The Trump administration has taken the unprecedented step of blacklisting one of its own, a major American AI lab, Anthropic. And this move, well, it fundamentally rewrites the relationship between Silicon Valley and Washington. So what's this all about? It really boils down to this. Anthropic has flat out refused to allow its AI models to be integrated into weapon systems that can take a human life. This decision, it's rooted in their safety-first constitutional framework, has put them on a collision course with the Pentagon. And the result? They've been designated a supply chain risk, a label that's typically reserved for foreign adversaries, not a domestic company. This single event has kicked off what many are now calling the Great Realignment. AI labs are being forced to make a choice, a very stark choice, between their own ethical guardrails and these massive, lucrative federal contracts. So now you have Anthropic on the outside looking in. Meanwhile, OpenAI has stepped right up to become a prime contractor. And of course, established players like Palantir are just continuing their deep strategic partnership with the government. And the fallout from this? It has been immediate. OpenAI moved incredibly fast to fill that vacuum, announcing a major new deal with the Pentagon for operational intelligence. Now, while that move shores up its position with the government, it has also sparked significant public backlash and even a boycott campaign. On the flip side, you have Anthropic. While they're cut off from federal money, they've seen a huge surge in support from the consumer market. A clear split in the industry is forming. Now, as this whole political landscape is fracturing, the technology itself just keeps marching forward. OpenAI has just launched GPT-5.4, and it introduces a new thinking capability. This isn't just an update, it represents probably the most significant leap in AI autonomy that we've seen in years. This new series of models really marks a clear evolution. The flagship, GPT-5.4, it's not just about generating text anymore. It's about reasoning and planning. You see, older models kind of acted like a black box, right? You put in a prompt, you get an answer, but you don't see the process. This new thinking mode, it gives you an upfront plan of attack, allowing a human operator to actually guide its work. This is a real shift from a passive tool to an active cognitive partner. Now, the key to this new capability is a massive 1 million token context window. To put that into perspective for you, that's like being able to read and understand the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy in one single go. This is what allows the model to absorb and navigate entire code bases, complex financial reports, or detailed project plans with almost human-level precision. It's the engine that lets it move from just answering questions to actually executing long, complex, professional work. But of course, these incredible software advances are only possible because of a generational shift in the hardware underneath it all. NVIDIA's official launch of its new Rubin platform is fundamentally changing the entire economics of artificial intelligence. The headline number here is a tenfold reduction in the cost of generating tokens. For years, the immense cost of compute has been the main barrier to mass AI adoption. By slashing that cost by 90%, NVIDIA is, in effect, democratizing access to high-end AI reasoning for nearly every business out there. And if you look at the benchmarks, the Rubin platform delivers huge gains across the board. Beyond just the cost reduction, it's offering 5 times the speed for these long context tasks and a 5-fold improvement in power efficiency. This really isn't just an upgrade. It signals a big move away from general-purpose data centers and towards specialized AI superfactories, where the hardware itself is purpose-built for one thing and one thing only, running AI at an incredible scale. But, and this is a big but, this explosion in capability and access is creating a whole new set of risks. A critical new report from MIT's Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Lab is warning that a crisis of reliability is emerging. We're talking about AI models failing, and failing catastrophically, in real-world software applications, especially in the financial sector. Professor Armando Soler-Lezama of MIT really frames the problem perfectly here. AI performs great on standardized tests and simple coding exercises, the kind of stuff you'd see in a college class. The problem is, it completely collapses when it's faced with the messy, complex, unique, and legacy-heavy code bases that actually run the world's most critical financial systems. And the data? Well, the data backs this up in a pretty sobering way. Research is now showing a staggering 73% failure rate for enterprise AI automation projects. This points to a really dangerous gap between the hype of AI-driven development and how it actually performs in the wild. And that gap poses a systemic risk to industries that are adopting it too quickly. I mean, just imagine a bank's trading algorithm failing silently. The consequences could be absolutely catastrophic. The core technical issue here has been given a name: hallucinated logic. This is where an AI generates code that looks perfectly plausible. It might even compile without any errors, but it's filled with fatal flaws. It might violate internal coding styles. It could call functions that don't even exist. Or, worst of all, it might just fail silently once it's deployed in a production environment, creating this invisible, catastrophic technical debt. This crisis of reliability leads us directly into our final story today: an escalating regulatory civil war. A battle is brewing between state legislatures who are trying to protect their citizens and a federal government that seems intent on prioritizing national innovation above all else. What we're seeing is a kind of grassroots safety movement gaining real momentum. States like Oregon, Florida, and Arizona are successfully passing enforceable laws on issues like chatbot safety for children or AI media disclosure. And these state-level actions are creating this patchwork of regulations, all while federal action remains pretty much stalled. Now, the federal response has been to challenge this movement head-on. The administration has established a Department of Justice task force specifically to litigate against state AI laws that it considers an obstruction to its national innovation-first policy. The argument being made is that some of these state rules, particularly the ones designed to mitigate bias, could be seen as forcing companies to alter the natural output of their models, which the administration is framing as a form of deception or even censorship. And this, right here, sets up a direct constitutional conflict. It poses a fundamental question for the country. Who gets to decide the future of AI safety? Is it the individual states who are focused on protecting their citizens from immediate harms? Or is it the federal government focused on maintaining a competitive edge in global innovation? So, to summarize today's briefing, the AI landscape is really defined by a series of these sharp paradoxes. The models are becoming more autonomous and agentic, yet they're proving less reliable in the environments that matter most. State regulators are stepping in to be more protective of citizens, just as the federal government is moving to centralize power. And the most powerful AI labs in the world have effectively lost their geopolitical neutrality, forced to pick a side in a global power struggle. This flight to reality, this is the new operating environment. And the central challenge moving forward is crystal clear. Success won't be defined by raw technical capability alone. Instead, the leaders of this new era will be the ones who can master the delicate, high-stakes balance between the exponential power of the machine and the inherent fragility of the human systems it is now so deeply a part of.